welcome back to Rasan. Welcome back to Rasan's ASMR journey. I'm Rasan, and I'll be doing the journey. Shout out to Adam Does Movies. Now today we're going to talk about a savior's complex and having the savior's complex. Now, if you don't know what that is, you're fine, you're good, I got you covered. I'm going to read the strict definition of a savior's complex, and then we're going to get back into it. Alright, so it says here, psychological, often subconscious need to fix, quote-unquote, or rescue others, driven by a desire for control, self-worth, or validation, rather than pure altruism. Yikes, that was loud, sorry guys. It leads individuals to overstep boundaries, provide unsolicited advice, and neglect their own needs, often resulting in resentment, burnout, and enabling toxic relationship dynamics. Okay, now, I have a bit of a savior's complex, but I don't happen to agree with all of that for me. And I'm going to go over some of the stuff again, and I'm going to say what I have to say as far as how it relates to me, or if it doesn't relate to me at all. Let's see, okay. It says often subconscious, and I believe that. It very much is subconscious, at least it was for me. It's just always how I've been, so I wasn't aware of it until I became aware of it. So yeah, subconscious need to fix or rescue others, yes. Driven by a desire for control, I think. Not necessarily, I don't want necessarily control of people, but I think I want control, I guess, to a certain degree of people, in a way that I help them to make what I think is the best decision for them if they, ask me for advice, or I see that they're in a really bad situation, or I see that they're in a bad situation repetitively, and if they, ask me for advice often, I'm gonna think to myself, geez, I wish they would, take my advice and at least try it for a little while, is always my thing, and see if you're happier, because that's always my goal. I want to fix it. I want to make you happier. I want to make your life better. I want to, not magically me make it like that, but I want to contribute to helping you get there, being a small part of it. And so, yeah, I have that need to control there. Is it part of my self-worth? Yes. I think that there is a part of me that says, a big part of me that says, what else are you here for other than to help, in your own small way, the people that you come in contact with, whether it's just a smile or a compliment, a wave back to somebody, or your closer friends, if you can help them in some way. I mean, that brings my self-worth up. It's not the only thing that contributes to it. There are other things, but yeah, that does play a part in my self-worth, I will say that. And it says, validation, rather than pure altruism. I don't feel as though I need validation, or I don't think that doing what I think is helpful things, I don't think that that's a thing that I need to validate me. It's just who I am. It's what I was built for, so I'd have to disagree as far as, it not being out of pure altruism in the way that it almost sounds super negative. I think there are many things that go into why I want to help people, and yes, it does give you better self-worth, it builds you up, but it's also, like I said, just what I think is a good thing to do. Help when you can, because I know, especially since I know that throughout my life things like the good things that have been brought to me due to people just helping. And I've also thought of some of the people that in my life that have told me that I've helped them, and that's what I'm here for. That's sort of, like I said, it's like almost, I was born that way. And now it says it leads to overstep boundaries, provide unsolicited advice, and neglect their own needs, often resulting in resentment, burnout, and enabling toxic relationship dynamics. I think I overstep my own boundaries sometimes. I've been working on that though, so my boundaries have been getting a lot better, and therefore I possibly may overstep other people's boundaries sometimes, but I do try to not do that. I'm very conscious of that. I don't want to overstep. And that kind of moves into the next one. Unsolicited advice is something I never do. I'm never trying to give anybody advice that doesn't ask for it 99.9% of the time. If you just flat out don't ask me for advice and it's not a dangerous... Oh, let me mute this, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Yeah, oh, no, I thought it was pretty much done, but no, we got a little more training to go. Alright, but yeah, no, I am famously a person that is not trying to give you advice if it's not a dangerous situation unsolicited. Absolutely not. In fact, I double check with people. Are you sure you want advice from me? Are you sure you want my opinion on something? I will double check with people, in fact, so no, I am. Alright guys, sorry. It was all the noise all the time. I am, filming early, as you can see, I think, so shame on me. Once again, I did not make all these people be extremely quiet because I'm doing a thing. So that's the thing. But yeah, I should have done this later, but I need to get an early start tomorrow, so I wanted to get this done now. Oh, more train, because we didn't have enough train earlier. Here I am trying to cut out the noise and stuff, and I'm doing a splendid job. I just want to let you know that is what I wanted to do. I promise you had been quieter earlier. I promise you, for like every artist says, for a good 2 hours. So anyway, yeah, no unsolicited advice from me. I'm not doing all that. Let's see what else. It causes you to neglect your own needs, often resulting in resentment, burnout, and enabling toxic relationship dynamics. I think that that's true to a certain extent. I overextend, or I used to, like big time. But I always was conscious of the fact that it wasn't the other person's fault. So I didn't resent, people in that way at all. I always kind of was aware that, oh, this is something I like to do. I like to help people. I didn't. And also, I kind of understood that my helping people was different than your average person's helping someone, help somebody, and I understand that that's not the way regular people function, because it's a part of, this deep-seated thing of who I am. Like, for instance, like, if a friend needs me, I will have doctor's appointments and stuff set up, and I will go through those doctor's appointments and see if I can't switch them around so I can be there for them. Now, I've learned in therapy and just in my life that it's better to not do that sparingly. You can do it, but don't be doing it all the time. It's too much. It's overextending yourself. You're making your own self tired. So you have to kind of back up and sit down and be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it, or can we do it another time? Something like that, I've had to tell myself that, and it's helped a lot, especially since I've had, some health issues, and I'm still having health issues, and I'm always going to have health issues. And as you get older with these health issues, it doesn't, or any health issues that continue, as you get older, they don't get any better. It gets a whole lot worse. So, sometimes it's good to tell yourself to sit down and, no, you can't do that, or you can't do that right now. And so that's boundaries and some things that I've learned, like I said, through life and through therapy. So, yeah, but I've never had real resentment when it comes to that. Now, I have had resentment in relationships where I feel like, I would ask for like the barest of minimums, and those things weren't being met, but I was still accepting the barest of minimums. That's like a problem. Like I said, I'm not expecting anybody to do things like I do things when it comes to certain aspects of being there for somebody. I'm aware that, like I said, I can be doing a lot and the most, but if you can't, back in the day anyway, I would accept the barest of minimums, but nowadays I'm like, I do have some standards. I don't expect you to be like me, but I have standards now, and expectations of like how much of myself I give to somebody versus how much they give to me. And so I won't just accept even the barest of minimums now. And like I said, I was willing to accept the barest of minimums back in the day, and even the barest of minimum wasn't met, and I'm pretty fair at evaluating that kind of thing. Like I said, unfortunately it won't stop being noisy. Unfortunately, I was kind of a person that would let people get away with stuff and not be quite as nice to me as they should. And I've had to learn self-worth that way, and that no, I deserve better and things like that, which, it was a process. It didn't happen overnight, but through life and me understanding, myself that, hey, no, this can't stay the way it is, and that you do deserve better. I had to just keep practicing that over and over again. Just practice makes perfect on changing some bad habits. But yeah, I never did resent anybody. Excuse me, guys. I had to cough there. Let's see. And enabling toxic relationship dynamics. I think that sometimes that is true. It does enable toxic relationship dynamics. Both ways, I'm burning myself out over here, overdoing it, and you're not even asking me to do something like that. So, but it's happening, and then you come also take advantage of that, so that's also a thing. And it would be super toxic if you had it on, if I was super resentful of somebody just because they were kind of overdoing it, like I do sometimes. But like I said, I've taken stuff over and over again from people, so I don't have that resentment. If anything, I think my mom would say I probably should have a little more resentment in different scenarios, but no, I don't. Alright, now I want to tell you that therapy, number one, in life, has helped me kind of navigate, the savior complex. And through therapy, I was introduced to this author, Mel Robbins, and the Let Them Theory. She's got a book out. It's the Let Them Theory and the Let Me Theory, I think. And she's a motivational speaker, a former defense attorney, and into self-help. Now, I'm going to read to you the exact breakdown, synopsis of the Let Them Theory. Some key takeaways that they have here on Google, and then I'm going to tell you my very shortened version of what I've taken away so far. I haven't gotten into all of the book, but it's a short version of it, and the podcast that I watched with Mel Robbins talking about it. Alright, the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins is a mindset-shifting guide focused on relinquishing the exhausting need to control others, allowing people to act how they choose, and reclaiming personal energy. It encourages radical acceptance to stop over-functioning in relationships, combat comparison, and focus solely on your own actions, emotions, and boundaries. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna take a drink of water, and hopefully the beeping will stop as well. I apologize. Alright, we've stopped beeping officially for now. Alright, let's go through some key themes and takeaways. The core concept: by letting people behave as they will, let them, you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, which eliminates unnecessary stress, frustration, and drama. Let them plus let me. The theory is not passive resignation. It is a two-part approach. Let them do what they want, and let me focus on my own reactions, choices, and boundaries. Protection of peace. The book provides practical and sometimes uncomfortable applications for relationships, friendships. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry. The apartment is hopping this evening. Alright, or no, this afternoon, sorry. Protection of peace. The book provides practical and sometimes uncomfortable applications for relationships, friendships, and work to stop trying to change, fix, or micromanage others. Self-focus. It encourages utilizing that freed up energy to work on personal goals and happiness as outlined in her 5-second rule and similar practical techniques. Essentially, the book argues that attempting to manage others is a direct cause of burnout. Once again, let's pretend I can read, and I'm going to try that one again, alright? Essentially, the book argues that attempting to manage others is a direct cause of burnout. By letting go of others' opinions and actions, you gain the freedom to live authentic and peaceful lives. And I'm gonna tell you now, like I said, I haven't read the book yet. I've watched the podcast, so I'm gonna tell you the short version of what I'm getting out of it so far. Hold on, I might have to come right back. Yes, maybe. Okay. Alright, guys. So, I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick again, guys. Sorry. A new medicine I have, side note, a new medicine that I'm taking for acne is drying out my face and my lips, so, and also my mouth, and a little bit of my eyes. So it's turning me into a prune to help me, is what I'm saying to you. Alright, the short version of what I say that I'm taking away, Mel Robbins, what I'm taking away from the let them theory so far is there are times where even if your friends or family have repetitive problems, like, you have to just let them. Like, you can give your advice, but you can't, like, take it personally. You have to, like, just let them go and make their own decisions after that. And after that, you have to let it go. It can't be held so personally. You can't get so emotionally involved. You know, you have to let it go. And sometimes you have to focus on you and pull back and have a seat sometimes. Sometimes you do a little too much, and it is time to pull back. You get too involved, and that's not good. So you have to kind of let go, let them, and then let you, like, focus on yourself, focus on some things that you want to make happen. You know, get out of just focusing on that one thing or that one person or a few people, you know, whatever is occupying your mind like that when it comes to other people. You gotta kind of pull back, let them make their own choices, whether you think they're right, wrong, or indifferent. They're grown. You can't control grown people. You have to let them. And also, there are times where you, like, if you have a child, there are times where you have a child that you can't control. And, you know, if it's not like a super dangerous situation, but you're like, oh, you think that's a mistake they're making right there, you know that you have to let them, because that's what growth is about. That's what experience is about. And that's eventually what being grown is about. Is, you know, sometimes you make good decisions, sometimes you don't. You have to let them. And, I mean, my mother let me. She let me all the time. She saw me banging my head against walls. You know, she would give me advice, but there were times where I wouldn't take that advice, right? And she would just have to let me. She would just have to let me go and make my own decisions, you know, about different things. And so it's helping me as far as that whole savior complex of always wanting to fix, always wanting to help, wanting to overhelp. And so it's taken the sting out of, like, if I give people advice and they don't take it or whatever, it's taken the sting out of that, because I've learned how to regulate my emotions when it comes to it. And also, I feel really good about, hey, you know, well, you gave the advice, they can take it or not, you know, as long as it's not like a super dangerous situation. That's something different. But if it's not like one of those super dangerous situations, it's like, okay, then, you know, they're grown, let them. wants to share in the comments. I am so sorry. Right at the end there, huh? Yeah, I bet you're awake now. Right at the end. I'm so sorry. But, like I said, anybody want to share anything having to do with the subject? Do you like Mel Robbins? Have you heard of the Let Them theory? Have you read it? Have you looked into it at all? Watched any